we'll start with a little bit about myself. I talk and I give a lot of lectures regarding real estate and purchasing in Israel. I also have a series by the name of The Ins and Outs of Real Estate in Israel. And I've developed large residential properties in Israel, especially in Beit Shemesh, built a few hundreds of apartments. Therefore, when I come to a transaction, not only I come to it as an Israeli real estate lawyer, but also as someone who developed and seen it also from the other side. The areas of my expertise are real estate, mainly real estate, but we also do contracts, wills, litigation, and we also have it in my office and more. Israel, this is a place we all want to be in. So purchasing in Israel is different than what you're used to in other countries in the world, and I would be talking specifically about the US. By us, it's divided into different, you're going to be finding the property. Before you sign anything in Israel, you do not sign really any kind of documents while you already start negotiating, reviewing the contract, and only after you reviewed and signed reviewed and negotiated all the aspects of the contract, then you go ahead and sign and start the transaction. We don't really have the concept of a down payment. Rather, you start the transaction, you start your payments. First one, second, or whatever it is mortgages, until you receive possession. And eventually, I will be registering the property on the buyer's name.
Where will you be registering it?
So in Israel, it's complicated. It's a very good question. We have the main two land registrars are Ramy, Reshut Mikakei Israel, and Tabu. Tabu is the main one. But actually, we do have thousands, if not tens of thousands of mini land registrars, which are managed by private lawyers. It's a whole interesting discussion. And that's why anytime my client says, well, I'm interested in a property, I say, okay, where is it registered? Let's understand how complicated things can be. My goal is to simplify it. My clients don't have to be involved, of course, with all the legalities. I will deal with everything and make it happen. So the topics we'll be covering today are, of course, the real estate transaction with its expenses, taxes, mortgages, money transfer, and banks in Israel. At any stage, you can pause the video and review the topics we're discussing. So expected expenses when you buy in Israel is, of course, purchase tax. It is a upfront heavier tax, and it depends, and later on we'll talk about there's different brackets, but you should just remember that throughout the lifetime of holding onto your property, you'll be paying less property tax, much lower than what my clients in the US are used to. Of course, depends where in the US. Now, typically, your real estate broker fee is 2% plus VAT. Mortgage fee would be 1% plus VAT of the mortgage. And real estate lawyer fee would be 0.75 to 1% of the total purchase price. Depends on the services, depends on the value of the property. Additional expenses you should be expecting is when transferring money to Israel, you'll be paying a conversion fee. And if you buy the first time apartment, you would have index, which is a topic that we should discuss. I don't think we have time for this video, but you should just be aware that such an expense might exist. And the one more thing is inspection. When you receive possession or before you buy it, you're going to inspect the property.
So those categories that you just put up are a really good guide for clients to guesstimate closing costs, correct?
That is correct. Not only that, for any one of my clients, I would provide an Excel sheet that will calculate all their closing costs. I also have it linked directly to the Bank of Israel exchange rate. So anytime they open up Excel, they'll know the exchange rate, and all the sums in shekels will be converted into dollars. Very clear. How much do you transfer for signing? How much do you transfer later on? How much do you transfer for closing? Very clear. My goal is to spoon feed my clients through the process, make it easy, simple, and
they can freeze this slide and realize that when they're buying a property for anywhere from 3 to 50, 60 million shekel, they can guess how much additional money they're going to need to go to closing with.